Oke, maaf ya.
Tadi Ibu lagi nelfon sama admin, jadi dia nunjukin gimana caranya Ibu jadi claim host ya. Jadi dikasih tahu passwordnya dan lain sebagainya. Oke, ini udah di record ya. I give to you, I give time to you, Ayu. Please go on.
So I can start the presentation right now.
Yes, please go on.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Good morning. This morning I would like to presentation about the jurisdiction under international law. As what like Bu Aska explained before about the case that how if someone's doing a crime in some region or in some cases, and what the court, what's the jurisdiction of the court or even the state or even the region that where someone's doing the crime. So here I will focusly discuss about the jurisdiction under international law. The first, I would like to serve and explain what is the explanation definitions about of jurisdiction. So here, as the most really important things of jurisdiction are, we are talking about sovereignty, as like what every states are have sovereignty over the state in every aspect, just like their nations, their court, and every aspect in their country are regarding to the sovereignty. So here, I'm take the definition of jurisdiction from Malcolm Shaw. Malcolm Shaw state that jurisdiction concerns to the power of the state to affect people, property, and circumstances, and reflects the basic principle of state sovereignty, equality of states, and no interference in domestic affairs. So there are 3 points that Malcolm Shaw like highlight here, which is uh, the basic principle of state sovereignty, equality of states, and no interference in domestic affairs. So we can conclude that Malcolm Shaw highlight these 3 points to revert to the jurisdiction definition. Next, here, I would like to explain, just only focus to jurisdiction of state jurisdiction and international court of justice jurisdiction. And why I just focus in these 2 jurisdiction, because nowadays in some books that if you read Malcolm Shaw's and any kind of international law book, they are just focused to this 2 jurisdiction. So here, of the state jurisdiction, there are 4 main points that I will explain. The first is the territoriality principle, personality or nationality principle, protected principle, and universality principle or universal jurisdiction. And in the International Court of Justice jurisdiction, I will only focus to the Article 39 Statute Court of Justice. So we will start with state jurisdiction. The first is the territoriality the territorial principle. It's like you can see in this slide that I definition first, that we can read this concept reflects one aspect of the sovereignty accessible by a state in its territorial home and is the indispensable foundation for the application of the series of legal rights that a state possesses. So from this definition, we can take some points that a country should be able to prosecute for offense committed upon its soil. So this upon its soil is just only in their state territorial. And the second point is all crimes committed or alleged to have been committed within the territorial jurisdiction of a state may come before the municipal courts and the cause of convicted may be sentenced. This is also even where the offenders are foreign citizens. Next, this is we are still discuss about the territorial principle. In Malcolm Shaw's explanation in International Law book, he stated that there are two territorial principle, which is objective territorial principle and subjective territorial principle. So for the objective territorial principle, this is highlighted that the most important that we must uh, remember is the key point is where the crime was committed or where the crime was happened. And for the subjective territorial principle, the key note is where the cause and impact. So when a crime is when the started and where the crimes is end and what's the impact. So here we can see show this picture that you can see there are someone shooting down someone, but actually I would like to elaborate more about this picture. I'm so sorry before. For the example, there are someone that shooting down another people uh, in the territory of that in the territory of what is that we call as perbatasan maybe. So between Indonesian border and Malaysian border, this someone from Indonesia are shooting down someone from Malaysia. So here there are possibility that someone from Indonesia are shooting down someone from Malaysia and someone from Malaysia are died or causing another impact or uh, there are something's broken or anything. Here both of the states between Indonesia and Malaysia where the gun was fired and the state where the injury actually took place have jurisdiction to try the offender based on the objective and subjective territorial principle. So where's objective territorial principle and subjective territorial principle? When someone from Indonesia shooting down someone from Malaysia, it is including to objective territorial principle because using where the crime was committed or someone from Indonesia is territorially from Indonesia. But when we looking for the cases from the Malaysia side, Malaysia can use subjective territorial principle because uh, Malaysia feel that uh, their national uh, people their person are get impact of because of the shooting down just like causing uh, causing died and anything. So there are two aspects here of one cases that can be objective territorial principle or subjective territorial principle. For another cases, in some international court of justice case, there are lots of cases that the juris the ICJ is judge that it is including to objective territorial principle, and Lockerbie Bambing is judge regarding to subjective territorial principle. For more cases, maybe we can search more in ICJ cases or in other reference book reference. The next is nationality principle. Different with territorial principle, nationality principle is really focused to the someone's nationality, not to the territorial or another aspect. So the keynotes that the highlight topic that I would like to explain in this nationality principle is that everyone has their nationality regarding to the concept of nationality. For the example, everyone deserve to get their passport or visa, and they are can be participated to the vote election, president election, or another or any kind of election, and then they are get the right and duties as their nationality. So there are 2 points that I would like to serve is that every nationality in every state, they are mostly used to theory of nationality. The first is by descendant from parents who are nationals, that we are known as ius sanguinis, and the second is by virtue of being born with the territory of the state that we known as ius soli, by the soil where the peoples is born. So these national principles are claim jurisdiction over crimes committed by their nationals, notwithstanding that the offense may have occurred in the territory of another state. So if the crime is occurred in another state territory, this principle is still using their where the peoples are what's the peoples are nationality. And the case that really commonly happen in I took from Indonesia. Just like Indonesia has jurisdiction to prosecute Indonesian workers who killed their employers in Saudi Arabia. Maybe we mostly read or even watch these cases before. How about if the first as before we explain about the someone's nationality, how about the nationality of the aircraft, or I'm sorry, this is not aircraft but ship or kapal laut. So in the article of 90 of the 1982 Convention on the Law of the Sea, ships had the nationality of the state whose flag they are entitled to fly. And for the aircraft nationality is related to the Article 17 of the Chicago Convention on International Civil Aviation, 1944, that state aircraft have the nationality of the state in which they are registered, although the condition for registration are a matter for domestic law. So whoever the registration are matter for the domestic law or the domestic laws duties, but in this convention, the aircraft has nationality based on where the aircraft are registered. So the next is the passive personality principle. Under this principle, a state may claim jurisdiction to try an individual for offense committed abroad which have affected or will affect national of the state. There are two key points is which have affected or will affect it. So whoever someone are uh, offenses to have affected or will affected national of the state, this they are can be uh, related to the passive personality principle. For more cases, we can see for the cutting case in 1889 and US versus Eunice regarding to the uh, aircraft crimes. So the next is the protective principle. In this principle, provides that states may exercise jurisdiction over aliens who have committed an act abroad which is deemed prejudicial to the security of the particular state concerned. So the principle is justifiable of the basis of the protection of a state's vital interest, since the alien might not be committing an offender under the law of the country where it's residing, and extradition might be refused of it encompasses political offenses. For the example of the case is Edgeman case. Uh, the last for the state's jurisdiction is universality principle or universal jurisdiction. Under this principle, each and every state has jurisdiction to try particular offense. The basis of this that the crimes involved are regarded as particularly offensive to the international community as a whole, or in some referentiation that called as hostis humani generis. There are two uh, crimes that including to this principle universal jurisdiction. These piracy and war crimes. These two crimes are including to universal jurisdiction. For the really common case for this principle is Pinochet case, which is a president that really dictator and he doing crime just like genocide, and this can be included to principal jurisdiction. And the second part is about ICJ jurisdiction. As we know that ICJ is a, a, a international court of justice that have the right and duties to uh, court the any crimes over the international subject, international law subject. So here, regarding to the Article 39 Statute International Court of Justice, paragraph 1, the jurisdiction of the court comprises all cases which the parties refer to it and all matters specially provided for in the Charter of the United Nations or in treaties and convention in force. So from this paragraph article, we can take a conclusion that every country regarding for their register their cases to the ICJ. ICJ have the jurisdiction of from the special agreement and the matters provided for in treaties and convention. And the next is paragraph 2 of the Article 9 International Court Court of Justice stated the states parties for the present statute may at any time declaration that they recognize as compulsory ipso facto and without special agreement in relation to any other state accepting the same obligation the jurisdiction of the court in all legal disputes concerning to there are 4 points. The first is interpretation of a treaty and any question of international law, the existence of any fact which is established would constitute a breach of an international obligation. And the last is the nature of extent of the reparation to be made for the breach of an international obligation. Uh, this 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 paragraph 2 of the article of the 39 article statute International Court of Justice, also known as compulsory jurisdiction of the ICJ. So I think that's all for my presentation about the jurisdiction. And for the next, I would like to uh, discuss or even uh, represented to you about the my mode problem regarding to jurisdictional case concerning to the mode problem regarding to the JSEP competition. So here, the first I would like to explain about the case concerning for 2021 uh, JSEP case concerning is regarding to the JP-18 pandemic, United Republic of Aprilia and Democratic State of Ranopstayu. So as we know that this issue are about, it's not about the COVID-19 but the JP-18 pandemic. But furthermore, I will explain. For the uh, the case is I summary that the case is about the JSEP 2020 problem is concern a global pandemic that we call that before called as JP-18, JP-18, and the obligation and responses of states with respect to the outbreak also involve question of this jurisdiction that I have uh, explained before of the court, a disparate claim for political asylum by an alleged rogue scientist, and state responsibility for a suspicious shooting down the civil aircraft. So the next is I would like to tell the case shortly regarding to the my claim about the jurisdiction. So on 19 June 2019, the Justice Ministers of both Aprilia as the applicant and Ranopsayu as the respondent received identical reports from Interpol indicating that a clandestine organization calling as FOG. FOG is the call as Friends of Justice. So and then in the early morning of 29 June, there is reported there are cases of maintained airways aircraft crashed into a forest in Aprilia between Segura province and Bhutan. Segura, this province is regarding to Aprilia and Ranapsayu. So in the next, Aprilia commissioned an independent inquiry into the identical by International Liga for Safety in Aviation called ILSA. So when after the Aprilia state known that there are maintained airways crash in the forest, Aprilia directly doing suspicion to the ILSA under the as the what we call as lembaga 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 under the Liga for Safety in Aviation. So and on 4 July, Ranab Sayed President Office issued a statement regarding to the incident that the president condemned the Aprialia's action for toward shooting down the maintained airways aircraft. So in the shooting down, Ranab Sayed said that Aprialia's action are violated international law. And Ranab Soyo also had interest of the cases because inside because the passenger of the aircraft is there are Mrs. Formon as the asylum of Ranab Soyo. But I think it will be too long if I explain about the Mrs. Formon. But the conclusion is Mrs. Formon as the asylum of Ranab Soyo. And then these two countries are had respectively deposit the declaration between their claims or their dispute to the Secretary General of United Nations under Article 39, Paragraph 2 of the Statute of the International Court of Justice. So, and this in this occasion, Aprilia also disobeyed the declaration, and it states that the court has no jurisdiction regarding to the Aprilia's reservation concern to the Aprilia's domestic jurisdiction as Aprilia stated or as Aprilia determined. So on 19 July 2019, Ranab Saya notified to the court that it wished to file a counterclaims against Aprilia asserting to the shutting down of Maintain Airways that Aprilia has violated international law. And then 2 days later, Aprilia notes its intention to contest to the court about the exercise of jurisdiction over that counterclaim. And Aprilia stated that the court has no jurisdiction of regarding to dispute of the shooting down of Maintain Airways. So this is my my argument regarding to the jurisdiction. Aprilia claims that the incident involving the shooting down of the Maintain Airways civilian aircraft that occurred in the territory of Aprilia state is not the jurisdiction of the ICJ, as I said before that in the Article 39, Paragraph 2, the ICJ has the compulsory jurisdiction, but in regarding to Malcolm Shaw's explanation, if a country is already reservation the declaration, the court has no jurisdiction to the dispute, and this is in some cases also happened to the America. If ever heard that about Connolly Amendment that that America reservation some points to that stated that the court has no jurisdiction regarding to the point of Connolly Amendment. And then the second is the Maintain Airways aircraft dispute is the domestic jurisdiction of the United Republic of Aprilia. Why? As I said before in the jurisdictions explanation, that a state has jurisdiction over their territorial, over their nationality, and then over their domestic jurisdiction. So if we look more of the cases, the pilot is Aprilia's nationality. Even also Mrs. Foreman as the asylum also Aprilia's nationality, and then the aircraft also are also registered in the Aprilia, and I think this point is already shows to us that the ICJ has no jurisdiction over this claim. And then in the next claim, in the respondent's side, it stated that the court may exercise jurisdiction over an obvious counterclaim concerning the Maintain Airways aircraft. There are two arguments that I serve here. The first is the court has jurisdiction under Article 39 Statute of the International Court of Justice. Why? Because in the compulsory jurisdiction and then in the Article 39 paragraph 1, there are a clause of optional clause. As before we said, we know that Aprilia has already register these cases to ICJ. So this both of countries action already shows that the ICJ has jurisdiction over this claim. And the second is the court has jurisdiction over Anupsayu's interest on the counterclaim. Just in another part, as we are explain about the criminal the universal jurisdiction that I little bit explain about the crimes or international crimes. This the Aprepulias action of shooting down the maintain airways is already already stated as the international crime. So the ICJ has a jurisdiction to over to juris the ICJ has jurisdiction over this claim. I think that's all my presentation for today. I'm so sorry if there are so many mistakes and another kind of my mistakes. So I think that's all. Thank you for your good attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nice explanation and deep explanation, I think, right? So I can understand about what you has present. So in this class, I give your change to give a question to Ayu presentation. Silakan, siapa yang mau nanya? Kalau nggak ada yang nanya, berarti sekelas ini nggak ada yang merhatiin. Oke, silakan. Ada yang mau bertanya?
Nanyanya pakai bahasa Inggris, Bu?
Boleh, bahasa Indonesia boleh, bahasa Inggris boleh.
Oh.
Kenapa? Jadi nggak ada yang nanya karena takut bahasa Inggris? Oke, ayo, silakan.
Bagus, lihai bahasa Inggris, Bu.
Oke, kenapa? Ada yang mau pakai bahasa Inggris?
Tidak, Bu, tidak.
Ya, ayo boleh. Boleh, siapa aja yang mau nanya? Boleh. Silakan. Kita nggak akan tutup kelasnya ya kalau nggak ada yang nanya. Atau besok
bertanya, Bu.
Oke, silakan Bagas.
I have some question to Ayu Anggraini. Okay, my question is whether a country that is not independent has a state jurisdiction. An example is the country of Palestine. Thank you.
Okay, do you get it, Ayu?
Yeah, Bu. Okay. Thank you for the question for Bagas. As in my, it is. I think I don't have I don't know more about this decision, but I will try to answer the question. As like every country or every state, it are stated that there has a sovereignty, there have the right and to be equal in the international level or in the international law. So if we can see from two aspects. If we say that Palestine is a country, of course that every country has their jurisdiction, whether they are whoever they are, big country or developed country or not, another kind of country. But if we see, if we know, if we relate more for and stated that Palestine is not a country, we think it is not. I don't say that Palestine don't have jurisdiction, but as we know that Palestine has the court, and then Palestine also di also diakui by another, by some of the countries as a state, and then in some uh, conditions also Palestine has the war and another. But if we relate it to the Palestine as a country has a court and then has a sovereignty, I think Palestine is have the jurisdiction. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your explanation, Ayu. Next, the question from the next participant, please.
I want to ask from Ayu. For Ayu,
Raihan, please go on.
Ayu, according from the GSAP case, I have a question about the Aprepuya and Renov Stayu case about the shooting down the aircraft in the border. In that case, I think the Aprepuya and Renov Stayu already have their jurisdiction about the cases. First, the Aprepuya have the jurisdiction from their aircraft, and the Renov Stayu as the state have the jurisdiction to take over people who want to enter their border. From your argument, I think you said that the ICJ do not have any jurisdiction to dispute the cases. And my question is, if the ICJ already not have the right to not have jurisdiction to dispute that case, so who have a right to claim that case? I think the jurisdiction crossover already happened in that case. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Raihan. Here, as my claim to the Aprepulia's claim, that I stated that the court has no jurisdiction over the shooting down of the Maintain Airways. As we can look at in my slide that in the point 2, the Maintain Airways aircraft dispute domestic jurisdiction of the United Republic of Aprepulia. Actually, in my pleadings, I have also stated that the point is whether the Aprepulia has the domestic jurisdiction. There are another parties that also have jurisdiction on it. For example, as I said before, that Aprepulia has already commissioned an independent inquiry into the incident by the International League for Safety in Aviation, or ILSA. Just like in the Chicago Convention, that if the countries, the parties of the Chicago Convention, they may proceedings the disputes before go to the court. They may just like doing an inquiry, independent inquiry to the another, we can call as lembaga in lembaga. And here the Aprepulia has already already proceeding the independent inquiry to the ILSA. And I think another another parties that also has jurisdiction in spite Ranaf Sayo and the court, the Chicago the ICAO also has the ICAO under the Chicago Convention also have the jurisdiction over this claim. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Bagas and Raihan for the questions. And I think the participants still want to give a question for Ayu, but unfortunately we have end this class, right? Maybe in next time, or if we have a formal or a Zoom room, especially for the presentation JSAP cases, I will invite my student. Thank you Ayu, terima
Thank
kasih ya
you, Bu.
semuanya. Ayu juga semua partisipan ya. Insya Allah kalau masih ada pertanyaan kita akan take note ya, kita akan bahas pada pertemuan berikutnya. Dan ini karena waktunya udah habis, kita harus tutup kelas ini ya. Insya Allah kita akan bertemu pada pertemuan berikutnya. Untuk absen, Ibu udah capture ya, jadi saudara semua bisa langsung leave setelah kita tutup dengan membaca lafaz hamdalah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim.
Ya,
Thank you, Bu.
sampai ketemu lagi.
Thank you, guys.
Keep fight, Ayu. Semuanya juga.
Thank you so much.